Welcome back to New Script on the Block. My name's Graham. I am here along with my co-hosts Nero, Ashley, and Alyssa. And today... Yeah, come on. I'm ruining my intro.
It's the
soothing
I know,
voice.
but I can hear it like so...
Hey, audience, can you hear this? This is
God.
me, Nero. I'm interrupting. My bad. Continue, Graham.
Anyways, today we're doing Before the Scene, and we're going to be reading the script Waves, and it is one of the Academy Award nominated scripts.
So
Wait, nominated for what?
I don't know what
we
it is.
don't know.
Oh, shit.
It's just in the list
What
of
category?
stuff from No Film School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could look it up, but I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, we'll look it up later.
If you're a listener and you may be sensitive to subjects such as abortion, this may not be the episode for you.
And or protesting.
Yeah, right?
Ooh,
if it's a
um,
touchy subject, then we won't be hurt if you decide to skip this one and tune into the next one. But we are going to read the script line for line, and we are going to stick to the way it's written. We'll put the link in the description on our SoundCloud and our YouTube videos, so please head over to No Film School to get access to the script. We're on page 34. Meet us over there. We're going to do a read of the script, and then after that, we will hop into the scene itself. We'll watch it, and we'll compare the two. That's what we do on Before the Scene, which is this segment of New Script on the Block.
Yes. Who's going to be who?
Yeah.
Well, after the marriage script, this makes me feel like this is a Nero and Alyssa type. You guys really went off on
We're really
that.
good at arguing with each other.
Shit, dog.
Comes
All right.
naturally to
Oh,
us.
boy.
Okay, so I'll be I'm assuming Alexis is the girl and Tyler's the boy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's switch it, baby. I want to be Alexis.
Talking in a deep voice hurts.
Okay, I'll be Tyler.
Thank you.
Gender norms.
That's really that's really it for this one, right? Yeah. Okay. And then Graham, do you want to read the
Sure.
narration?
Sounds good.
Should we add a little bit of context of where this is in the story? Like, not just page number, but what happened before, like setting it up, or no?
So,
Have you watched this?
No, I have not seen this. I just got really interested in it when I was watching some of the scenes from it, and after this, I'm definitely gonna watch it because it was very interesting. So I have no idea what's happening before this or after this. So I think we're just kind of going into this blind.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see the scene, honestly. Like, I previewed it before this. I'm assuming Nero and Ashley, you guys haven't.
Nope.
This is all fresh to me.
Super unprepared.
Well,
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. We'll talk after we watch the scene about how it's done. But, yeah, I definitely think that watching the scene really makes you feel like, I got to watch this fucking movie.
Oh, boy.
All right, are we ready?
Yep.
Interior Tyler's truck continuous. Tyler and Alexis drive out of the parking lot. As they leave, Tyler flicks off the protesters. Alexis is sitting in the passenger seat, crying.
It's okay, babe. It's okay. What happened?
Alexis continues to cry and shakes her head.
I couldn't do it.
What?
I couldn't do it.
Fucking hell, babe. I don't want to go back there. Why didn't you just do it and get it over with?
I don't know. I thought I could, but
Okay,
I don't
but
know.
We
I don't
talked
know.
about it.
I'm
You
just
made
confused.
a decision.
We need to talk
what more
about
is
it
there
again.
to talk about?
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm not.
You're yelling.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Okay. I'm sorry. Did you get the money back?
Yes, I got the money. That's all you care about.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You don't know how hard this is. It's my body.
I know.
Pause for page turns.
Hold on, let me... Turning the page, hold on.
You don't. I don't know if I can do an abortion.
What are you talking about?
Stop yelling.
I'm not.
This isn't your body. It's mine.
It doesn't matter. Are you being serious right now?
Yes, my mom had an abortion.
I can't believe
and
I'm
she
having
said
this
she regretted
conversation.
it, and
I
the
don't
rest
give a
of her
shit.
life.
This isn't about your fucking mom. We are seniors in high school. We're going to college next year, and this would ruin all of that.
Okay, that's your point of view. Thank you for not caring about mine.
Why would I care about an insane person's point of view?
Stop the car.
No.
I'll fucking Uber home or something. You know, you can be so sweet sometimes, and other times you can be the biggest asshole.
I'm not being an asshole. I'm being realistic. You're just too stupid to know the difference.
Stop the car.
No.
Stop the fucking car.
Fine.
Tyler. Alyssa, let's not get abortion.
I've never ever yelled at someone like that in my entire life, just to be clear.
Cool.
Tyler pulls over and Alexis gets out and begins walking. Tyler just sits and watches Alexis wipe away tears as she walks away. He knows he went too far. Tyler pulls up and rolls down the window.
Please, just get back in the car, okay? I'm just get in, and I'll take you home.
Alexis ignores him.
I need to be alone. Just
Oh,
leave,
shit.
Tyler. Yeah,
Damn.
we're supposed to
It
talk.
switched.
They switched which side the
Yeah.
speaker is on.
Okay, all right.
I fucking hate when they do that. This
Yeah.
is not the only script that's done that.
Ooh, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alexis, please.
Oh, can
Okay.
we do it at the same
Sure.
time?
Okay, here we
Can
go.
you,
I can-
you
yeah.
read your line.
Alexis ignores him.
Alexis,
I need to be alone.
please.
Just leave,
Lex.
Tyler.
Fine. Fuck it.
Tyler takes off and leaves Alexis in his rear view. So any first impressions on this before we watch the scene?
Ooh,
You know
that
what?
was heavy. Go ahead.
Okay. What Alyssa was saying earlier about when there's a 2-column dialogue and how they switched where the characters are and how
Yeah.
you were annoyed by that.
I hate that. And this isn't the only script that's done that. And I don't know if it's maybe it happens in the formatting of the script in whatever application they're using, where it's not necessarily making sure the same person is on the same side of the script each time. But it's fucking annoying.
But does it matter, maybe it's to clarify who starts it first? Because,
Maybe.
I mean, for someone to say, I couldn't do it, I'm sure, it says, I'm on page 34, and
Okay.
at the first column, 2-column dialogue, it says, I couldn't do it, and Tyler's saying, what? I would say what would probably come in as she says, I couldn't,
Yeah.
and then what should
partially
happen
through.
before.
So this script, just as an example, I reference the script all the fucking time now.
Little Women.
Little Women. And Little Women, what she does is she does slashes to indicate, hey, there's
This
a
is where it
slash
cuts
in the
off.
middle of this person's sentence, and the other person has a slash at the beginning of the sentence, so your slash indicates you starting your sentence at this point. In this one, they try to do something a little different that also is at least more helpful. You can see that in the dialogue, they break up the lines to line up with where they should come in on top of each other. But you're right, it's not super specific. But it just breaks things up a little more. You even see, you have two sets of dialogue that are immediately after each other, which is weird, because normally you would have, dialogue, and then if you see a continued, it should be them speaking after some sort of action is occurring, or direction is occurring. But that doesn't happen here. It's you have Alexis and Tyler start their dialogue on top of each other, and then there's a break between that with nothing else happening, and then it goes into their dialogue again, and it says they're continued.
Yeah, that's strange. I
It
didn't
is weird.
realize that.
And I don't know if that's a formatting mistake, or if they did it intentionally just because it was so much that they're saying in this scene. It's hard to keep up with all of it, and
They're
make
trying to break it
sure-
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which leads to big chunks. I think they're kind of following that general rule of trying to,
Yeah. Make sure there are less chunks.
yeah.
Which works. I mean, I felt it was pretty readable. Despite the fact that they're talking on top of each other and arguing the whole scene, I feel like we were easily able to follow the dialogue for the most part.
I'm nodding. In agreement.
I don't know. Did you guys have anything else? Like, Ashley, this is your first time. You haven't watched the scene. You haven't read the script. You know nothing about the film. What are your immediate impressions?
I mean, just with the script, yeah, I thought that was kind of, we're looking at this whole conversation without looking at anything else. Like, there's no, Alexis looks down and doesn't turn to Tyler or anything like that. Like, no sort of direction of what she's doing or what he's doing. It's just all dialogue. So, I don't know.
That is something I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Can we do a fact check on director v. writer?
Yeah.
I will say, like, with them being in a truck cabin, there's hardly anything you can really do that the dialogue doesn't already kind of do it for it, like, visually.
Yeah.
Like, because they're yelling at each other, but Tyler's driving, so he's, like, looking this way, and he's probably, you can make the assumption that he's probably glancing to yell back at whatever, at Alexis.
Yeah.
And she's just there in her seat, like, freaking out.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, those little bits of saying, she turns to Tyler and says blah, 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 right? That isn't here. And, I mean, that'd be fine, but I'm also okay with it not being there, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, not having any action description that breaks it up.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. And it is like a pivotal argument, so it feels like it makes sense that we're focused on what they're saying. And I also, like, I don't feel like they say too much. Like, this doesn't feel like exposition to me, right? Like, it feels like there's plenty of subtext. Like, what they're saying makes sense, but doesn't say too much about how they're feeling. It's the right amount where you can tell that they're feeling more than what they're saying to each other. And that makes the argument, like, really effective.
I like what you said there.
Thank you.
They're saying what they're saying isn't everything.
It was a totally original thought I just had.
Oh my goodness. I've never heard that before. People do that? Holy shit.
People have those. So the director and the writer are the same person, Trey Edward Schultz. Schultz? Yeah.
Sounds German.
I don't know. But yes, same person.
Interesting. Yeah, I watched 2 scenes from this movie out of the options that Graham selected, and these characters, their relationship dynamic is like, I have not personally had the misfortune of having this type of relationship with a person, but I've definitely seen these types of relationships, and it feels so real and raw and natural.
Yeah, I mean,
It's heavy.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I think that's why it's so impactful to me. Is like, obviously nobody wants to have a kid in high school, and the guy feels like it's gonna ruin his life, but it's the girl's body, and it's like, you don't, like, the guy doesn't know what the girl's gonna have to go
feminist
through.
Graham.
No, it's like a
He's
serious
even wearing
thing
pink
because
today.
for certain reasons.
Hashtag on our side, man.
No, it's just like, I could think of this moment happening in real life, and the guy was like, oh, I'm this athlete and I have so much life ahead of me, and the girl's like this is a life, and like, obviously she doesn't want to have a kid, but
But she also doesn't want to go through it.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Or go through it to get it
Yeah.
aborted. So
I'm going to bring up a conversation. It might need to get cut out.
okay.
Have you guys ever been to a clinic?
I have not.
I've been to Planned Parenthood, but not in any way to discuss said
That.
matters.
Yeah. It is, I think, and I could be wrong, it feels intentionally terrifying, right? Like, there is this overwhelming, intimidating element to the environment around abortions. And I don't know if that's something that's purposeful or if it's just, this is the truth, is that it's a medical facility. It is a medical procedure. Like, there is a, you know, like how people feel uncomfortable in hospitals. that's how it is, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
very sterile, it's very procedural, and it's not welcoming or emotionally helpful, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that a young girl in that environment, like, even if you mentally, like, you know and acknowledge this isn't what's best for me right now, this isn't what's best for my partner right now, to have this child, but I could see how that experience can really turn you over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like in Juno,
Yeah.
like, you know, and that one girl that she knew that didn't help either.
Yeah.
Of they have fingernails.
All babies matter. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Asian
her.
girl.
Oh,
yeah. But like
Oh,
even
protesters,
being
yeah.
being in she was the only one though. But even still,
In this scene, there,
yeah.
like, before they get in the vehicle, there's a crowd of protesters. Not like a ton, but there's always at least a handful.
yeah.
Yeah.
But for Juno's sake, it was kind of like you said, it was being in that environment of, you know, seeing people doing things with especially with their fingernails after that comment that she made,
Yeah.
just made it more
Made her think
real,
about
and
it.
that's why she, you know,
Yeah.
ended up walking out. So, yeah, I mean, that could have easily been something along those lines.
For sure. And again, like, the guy, if he didn't, which I think I haven't watched it, but we're led to assume that he obviously didn't go back with her. So he's missing out on, like, a whole level of the experience that she's a part of that he is not privy to, which probably doesn't help him empathize with her in this situation, right?
What
No,
a
of
punk.
course
He didn't
not.
go inside?
He's too good for that.
Well, I don't know. Again, we have no context, right? Like, she
Yeah.
could have been not comfortable with him coming. She could have said, I want to do it on my own. Or it could have been the facility that, for whatever reason, had restrictions on, like, male partners being back there if they're not their husband or, you know, a relative.
As a male,
Yeah.
I like to... No, never mind.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
we
no,
can cut
I
it
like-
out, Nero.
No, as a male, I just find that wrong for letting your partner who is pregnant with your child or whatever to go alone. I think that's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like because they talked about it in the context of what we just read. I'm sure that, you know, yeah, they said that they discussed this whole situation. Therefore, they're in it together. So, like,
Yeah.
male point of view, my point of view, then if it was both their decisions to do it, to go through it, they should both be present. That's just me. And I don't know if there's like
Yeah,
what you call it.
we don't know if in the scene before that she in any way indicated that she wasn't comfortable or didn't want him there.
Or the clinic doesn't allow it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or for all we know, like, we're missing the relationship dynamic. And audience, if you've watched this movie, feel free to comment at us what the movie is like and what these two characters' relationships are like. But for all we know, she could have felt, and this is sadly just sometimes the case, she could have felt obligated by him or their relationship, and being separated from him in that time allows her the opportunity to think more independently and separate herself and her feelings about it from his, because
Oh, that's fair.
and it's unintentional sometimes, right? It's not like, I'm not assuming that he forced his ideas on her, but we can assume that sometimes you're trying to be considerate of other people and what you're really doing is hurting yourself, right? So that's a possibility of what's happening in this scene.
We should probably watch the scene.
Yep.
No, wait. Sorry,
But there's more.
but I want to talk about something.
Yeah.
Don't even visually bring it up on the iPad yet.
Okay.
I want to talk about, like, just maybe this can be something that we do in the future from here, but reading the script and, like, talking about maybe, like, visually what colors did you see? Like,
Oh, the tone.
like
of the
the tone,
scene.
yeah, like, for some reason I caught blue. Like, for some reason it's cold. Like, color temp wise, it was cold.
Which is
but I don't know.
I've seen it, so
Yeah.
I can't say.
That's why I want to bring it up between me and Ash, who haven't seen it yet.
I was thinking maybe like a warmer tone because it's a heated conversation.
Yeah, I've watched it, but I do feel that the color palette they go with makes sense to me based on the nature of the argument that's being had.
Mm-hmm. Like, I would agree with Ash that, yeah, it would be maybe the color palette would be kind of like warmer, but I don't know why I was reading it. I imagine it cooler for some reason, but
Ooh,
I just wanted to bring that up.
maybe a green tone because it feels
Sick and
you
nauseous.
feel
Yeah.
uneasy.
I think that and you kind of, again, like I haven't watched the whole movie, but I've watched a couple scenes and I've gotten something about these characters, and that's this is who they are. Like, this scene is very much them. Like, they come across like very hot-tempered, opinionated, argumentative. They're honestly kind of dramatic, but I feel like that's intentionally a part of who they are. Like, they seem to be melodramatic people, which, their age is obviously a contributing factor in that. But it may also have to do with just the environment they live in and the nature of the relationship they have with each other that they get so melodramatic.
But hold on. You saying that, like, I'm seeing, like, some instances where he, like, kind of backtracks a little bit. So he does that. That's his character.
But again, in the scenes that I've watched, which is all of 2 of them, what I've seen is that it's always after he's gone too far.
No, okay.
Like, he's that guy who he says exactly what he's thinking in the heat of the moment. And maybe not what he's really feeling, but more so, those types of people that they get boiled up, their blood gets boiling when they're angry, and then they say things that are just to hurt the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has that immediate regret.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what it is.
It's like, shit.
Yeah,
I picked the wrong choices in this dating sim.
Yeah.
Fuck. Can I go back?
That is not the outcome I wanted.
All right, we'll be back.
This podcast is brought to you by Arizona Studios. Arizona Studios, a full-service video content specialist. We're here to illuminate your message and compel your audience to take the right action. For more information, head to our website at arizonastudios.com and be sure to tune in for more content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
So if we're rolling right now,
Yeah, we are.
I want to bring up first the thing that we left off on before we started watching this was the whole color situation, and how I, for some reason, was feeling like the visuals were kind of cool in color, and Ash said that they were probably going to be warm, and I agree with that. Like, with the dialogue being so aggressive that, yeah, it would be like kind of hot, passionate colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is
So
what you said.
It was kind of like a little bit of both visually.
Well, and you brought it up when we were watching it of when things started to get a little bit more heated. When he turned down the street, both of their faces ended up becoming very bright and red. So it's like that could also be some sort of visual cue of they're both very angry.
Can I touch on that for people who are listening and haven't seen the scene? Which, by the way, we'll link the scene in the description on our SoundCloud and our YouTube. But yes, go watch our YouTube videos. Nero works very hard on making those animated characters and puts a lot of hours into it. So make sure that you go watch the YouTube video. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm sorry.
Lots of happy. We're back.
So anyway, so go watch the YouTube video. But the point is in the scene, the way the color is used is mostly done from the lighting from the environment. They're in a vehicle, and as they're driving, there's these hints of blue that are cast on them, the subject, and generally around the vehicle itself. And then, as Ashley said, as the vehicle comes to a turning point and it turns a corner, then suddenly, while their conversation's escalating, now this new exterior light that's much oranger in hue and more warm tone comes in and starts reflecting on their faces. So in addition to what they're wearing.
Yeah.
That too.
And people might think like, oh, hey, that could just be the coincidence of the lighting going on. But when a film is being processed, that means it's going through a colorist, and that person intentionally made the shadows a tint of cool colors. So, like, I would say that was very intentional.
I would
for them
say
to go
even
that
before
route.
then. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say
Oh, yeah.
even when they
With
were
the
shooting
sun,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was intentional.
But that's cool. Cool to visually see that. Anything else, like, in terms of comparing the script to what we just saw?
A lot more F-bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she slapped him.
Oh yeah, I don't. Was
And-
that even in the script?
I
Did
don't
she
know.
slap him?
No,
I
there
didn't
was
think
no
so.
slap in the script.
Man, these actors really ran with that shit.
Well,
They
and I-
felt it.
I think he spat at her too.
Yes, he spits at her
Yeah.
after she slaps
So
him.
it's like that wasn't
Dang.
a part of it, and he seemed a lot more. What's the word?
I have one, but I don't know if we're thinking the same thing.
Like after she gets out of the truck and he's like trying to tell her, "Hey, come back into the car." He seemed in the script. He seemed a lot more like,
Careless.
well,
Apologetic.
like yes, apologetic.
and I don't feel like he was as much
In
the
watching
scene.
it, in watching it, he seemed more careless.
Okay.
Or yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
like he's more like this is embarrassing. This is an inconvenience.
Yeah,
like,
just
stop
get
making
back in the
a
truck.
scene. Get in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, versus like when you're reading the script, you automatically read it as like I regret what I just said. I don't want to be fighting. Like
I'm
let's move past
sorry.
it. But
Yeah.
the subtext is completely different in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% agree what you're saying.
I was also I felt that he registered, especially he delivers this one line in it, and it feels I know it's your body. Like he's more condescending in nature when he starts arguing with her about getting the abortion. Like he.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I mean, I think when we read it, we automatically went to more like a,
Compassionate,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
sympathetic.
Yeah, like the subtext is very different from when you read the script.
Could you just real quick deliver both of those lines in those two ways you were talking about? Just right now, performance-wise, do it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think we originally read it like, I know it's your body, but versus, I know it's your body. Like,
Nice.
I get it. Your body, your choice, whatever. Like, feminism, yada, yada, yada.
Whoa, Alyssa.
Damn.
No one take that clip.
And use that against
Yeah. So funny.
That's gonna be the promo right there.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the goal.
Fucking editor, please do not do me wrong like that.
Ooh, that's some treading some water right there.
But you get it, like that's the tone in his voice comes across very much like this condescension of, oh my god, I fucking get it, you're a woman, blah, 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 but, you know, this affects me too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Go
I
ahead.
think at the beginning of the scene, like at least in the actual scene, it seems like it takes a little bit longer. There's a lot longer of pause and him trying to figure out exactly like why she's crying. Where as in the script, it seemed like they immediately jump into like I can't do this,
Yeah.
and I felt like that build up was really nice.
Oh, I agree. The pacing is better. I can't believe none of us have mentioned it yet, but the car making the beeping sound in the
Oh, yeah.
background from the seatbelt, like, just icing on the cake. Like, I really think that intensified the scene a lot.
Do you think that was intentional, or do you think it was?
Maybe.
Like-
could've
It could
been
be a happy mistake.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, they discovered it. I mean, I'm sure that you can tell by the way the scene's played out that I don't think that at the moment of what we're watching it was unplanned, but do I think that they could have not had it planned originally and then they heard it going off after they started shooting or before they started shooting and they thought, oh, wait, I like that, like, let's do that? Maybe.
I'm willing to bet it's that, or just in post-production. Well, no, you see him click his belt open.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it was a mistake then. And then they were like, oh, hey, let's do another take
Let's
with
run
that.
with it.
Yeah. sound
thing
guy's
is-
like, fuck! You know?
Yeah.
That'll teach actors though. Like, I mean, I feel like you could tell when we're working with beginner actors, not offensively, just that it's easier for when you're starting out. It's easier for you to get thrown by something and then fall out of the scene versus very experienced actors. Like, they keep going until the director says to stop, period.
Right,
Like,
whether-
it doesn't matter. Like, if something unanticipated happens, I'm going to continue either way.
That's
Just
a
like
really good
Leonardo
point.
DiCaprio in Django Unchained, of him cutting open his hand, and he just went with it.
And then he used his blood as a prop.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I didn't hear that story, but good to know.
He like smashes his hand on the table, and there was like glass there.
Oof.
And he cut open his hand, but he kept going.
Yep.
And no one said cut.
See, that's my
so-
point, though, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, you should wait until the cut's called. Yeah.
But then he, like, rubbed the
Yeah, he-
blood on the actress's, like, face, Kerry Washington. And
Well, because
But
I
is
think
that another
was,
angle? Because then it could have been they decided
it
to
looks
do that.
continuous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I
I
think
don't
it
know how
was.
I'd feel if I was the girl.
Yeah.
Like getting someone else's blood on my
Yeah.
face.
I don't know, man. Actors, though, right? Like, I'm
Right.
sure she was like, did that look good? Oh, my God, I bet it looked amazing.
Yeah, this is true.
She's like, this was the moment for us. We
Yeah.
synced.
The only thing about the seatbelt thing is, I don't know about you guys, but like my car will beep too.
Yep.
But I think it's only when you either get so far or go a certain speed.
Mhm.
They were pretty far down that street before it started beeping. So I don't know. It could have been a thing put in.
I mean, I could tell you this much, like, suspension of disbelief, like, it's a
Yeah.
film, you know, there's
Yeah.
a level to which it's not, there's a big margin of which it's not realistic, but it's,
Yeah.
Well, and the sound could be totally like placed in there afterwards too.
oh,
like,
it is.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
to be.
No, I'm just saying. Like,
I would say that could have also very easily, again, yeah, been a post decision for the sound designer or mixer.
I gotta admit something to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Claire catches me and calls me out on it all the time. When I use my blinker, I'll turn, and then my blinker, you know, sometimes cars just kind of click,
The blinker
Off
goes
it?
back
Yeah.
out, yeah.
but I guess my car doesn't do that, so it stays on, and I
You're like
keep
the
driving.
old driver.
Like, fucking just keep going, and it's like your blinker's still on, you know, like after miles. You know, like, hey, oh
Yeah.
my bad.
I've done
had your blinker on for 5 blocks.
I've done shit like that with Ryan where it's like, I don't know if anyone else will relate to this, but you know it only takes a couple times of someone telling you, like, don't tell me how to drive before eventually you get, like, paranoid about it, and then it's like, I'm not going to say shit no matter what's happening. I don't care. And then eventually you're just like, hey, I think you hit a pigeon like 3 miles ago.
Can you give us context of this story for you in your case?
For me? No, I mean, it's not like I've taken specific notes every time we're driving, but you know what I mean? Like,
Wait, who's driving? Ryan?
when
or
Ryan
you?
is driving,
Okay.
I try not to say anything.
Okay.
No matter what's going on.
Okay.
Because if I do say something, which has happened before, if I say something, a lot of times it's like, I know, I'm already going to do it. You know, like
That
I'm
pigeon-
aware, Alyssa.
That pigeon owed me money. You don't know our relationship.
Yeah, right.
I had a hit on that pigeon.
But you know what I mean? Like then I become paranoid. I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. And then after a certain amount of time, it becomes uncomfortable. And I'm like, your headlights have been off this whole time. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that type of shit.
Can I confess something to you?
Yeah.
That's every time me and you are in the car.
That hurts a little.
It's only when, like, even earlier today.
It's too real.
Earlier today.
I
where-
can dish it out, but I can't take it, Ashley.
Like earlier,
Yeah.
like, hey, you need to turn here, and it's like, oh shit, okay. Like, it's times like that where it's like, oh,
I didn't get mad at you for telling me what to do.
no, I know, but there's the paranoia of, if I tell her, oh, you need to turn here, will she get mad at me? Will you yell at me?
You should
That's why I
So
don't
I
say
have a
anything.
story, and it might be a story for later, but on
No,
me,
story for now. It's a podcast. We talk about random shit.
on me and Leona's first date, she was
Oh.
driving, and she ran a red light, and she had no clue until I told her, like, months later. I was like, yo, you definitely ran a red light.
Months later, so it was just like you kept it a note.
Well, I didn't want to mention it because
1
I was
month.
paranoid. It was my first date with her. I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
That's
So
fucking
I
hilarious.
told her like months later, and she like still denies it, but she definitely did.
It was still yellow.
Viewers, if you want to start a trend, hashtag Leona Red Leona Red Light.
I had a friend where that happened to us. Like it was really late at night and we were driving and I was doing that thing where you're looking, you know those streets where they have a light like every fucking quarter of a mile or something?
Yes.
And so I'm looking at a light that's off in the distance that's the light I want to be at, but
Oh, and it's, like,
not the
already
one
green?
that I'm actually at.
Oh.
And so I ran a red light and we didn't make it. It wasn't until we made it to the next light that she was like, you know you just ran that red light, right? And I'm like, what?
So the key is though, you just need to call yourself out first. Like, I ran a red light, fuck, and just keep going, so no one can say shit. It's like they'll just agree. It's like,
But you
oh,
have
yeah,
to be
you did.
aware you've done it.
Yeah.
In the 2 instances that were presented to us, they
Yeah,
were not aware.
we're not aware. Yeah, and I think that's typically how it is, right? Like when I call out Ryan, it's he didn't know.
Yeah.
He didn't notice, but I didn't say anything sooner because I was worried he'd be mad if he did know.
Yeah.
So what if he didn't know and you told him? He'd be like, oh, dang, I'm sorry.
I don't know if he'd use that phrasing. I don't think you'll hear Ryan say the phrase "I'm sorry" too often.
Damn.
I mean, I love the man, but you know, we're both pretty non-apologetic people.
He just says, good.
I feel like that's all I say is I'm sorry.
You do say "I'm sorry" a lot.
I'm sorry.
There's a book about that, how women say "I'm sorry" too much.
Yeah. I also say I don't know a lot.
Yeah. I only say that when we're talking about what to eat.
Except for today. You
I knew what we were going to eat
Yeah.
today. Before all y'all knew. All right, no. Back to the story, though.
Driving and acting.
Trying and acting. Yeah.
You know, with the 2 angles and such,
Yeah.
do you think that actor was really driving that vehicle? Like, just
Yeah.
because it didn't show a lot of angles and he really did keep his eyes on the road?
Man, now I'd have to watch it again.
It's really tough to say.
He looked over at her a couple of times, but I think for the most part he was pretty straight on. I would think the safest thing to do was have it on some sort of like either
Tracks.
a different car was pulling it
Yeah, usually it's
or
That's a good point.
or something, but I don't know.
I don't know. Audience, send us clips of people shooting car scenes and let us know how it's done.
Ooh, and with that note, I felt like this was done pretty awesomely, like in terms
Yeah.
of doing a very minimalist, like inside the vehicle, like
Yeah.
scene.
Totally worked. And it didn't feel like cheap, you
Yeah.
know, which is
Yeah.
saying a lot.
Yeah, it was just 2 angles.
I honestly
You didn't
think
need to see the rest of it
yeah,
or the rest of the car.
I honestly think that the color and the use of color grading and the lighting did enough to give it that cinematic feel, even if it was like super minimalistic in terms of cinematography.
I think what I thought was cool about this, the coolest thing about this scene was that if you took it out of the movie, like it could be its own short film. Like just that scene, just having that scene by itself, it totally tells like a really strong story. You don't really need any other kind of context to tell the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Props to these actors, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
they kill it.
Who are they and what else have they been in?
I have no idea. I didn't recognize either of them.
I recognize
Fact
the girl,
check!
but I don't know where she's from or where I recognize her from.
A lot of these I've never heard of.
Hey,
It comes at night.
Oh,
He
He's
played
the boy?
Travis. Shots Fired, Shepherd, Startup, Monsters and Men, Assassination Nation, All Rise, Jin, JT Leroy, The Wolf Hour, Lucy? Maybe? I don't know. Gully, Bolden, Waves, Godfather of Harlem, The Photograph, The High Note.
I don't know. I'm gonna start watching this boy. He was good. And the girl?
The girl. Oh, you
Lost
got-
in Space?
Were you looking at the right person?
Was I?
Oh, wait.
Maybe this is why, because I saw Euphoria, and I definitely recognize her from that.
I still need to watch it.
Mid-90s, I saw that as well. So...
Yeah, I
Oh.
think this is Alexis. She hasn't done much.
Keep going.
The OA, which I've seen. Love.
She's in Love.
I've seen Love.
I saw the
don't
first
recognize
season
her.
of that.
Yeah,
Oh, is she the
Love.
girl
Love
who's
just
trying to?
continues to be that depressing.
She's trying to walk home. It's like that. No, sorry, that's something else. That's
That was
Masters
what
of
we
None.
just
Yeah,
watched.
I was gonna say. I know you're talking about that.
I feel like the reason why there wasn't much direction in the script was because it was in the car, and there's only so much you could do in the car.
But they
But they did a lot.
it. Yeah, they used it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the main difference that I noticed.
I'd like to, just because the script and the scene are quite different, or at least the intensity, I'd like to think that it's like kind of improv-y, but it makes it hard to believe with like getting 2 cameras in there and hoping that everything matches up if they only have one.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like because they take so many leniencies with the dialogue, it would be so hard to match up those shots
Right.
in multiple takes.
Maybe that's why the truck is so big. The extended cab to have 2 cameras in there.
There's definitely 2 cameras rigged in there, man.
You think?
Yeah, I'm willing to bet.
Okay.
I'm gonna put money.
We're gonna
on
like
it.
hard research this. We're gonna track down someone who was on the crew in this scene just
Tell
so
me
that we
how
can
you did
ask
it.
them how they did it. Anyway, go watch Waves. Waves, the plural?
Yes.
Yes, go watch Waves. Great movie. We think. We hope. Great scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And then comment at us what you thought of the movie. Tell us what the characters are like for the rest of the plot, and tune in to next week's episode for more new script on the block.
Sounds like you're running out of things.
Episode.
I'm running out of things. What else do we say when we close? Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
That's it. All right, bye. You'll hear us next time. Bye.